I want to welcome you to another episode of Mad Talk, Making a Difference. It's all about showing how in our world, everyone is making a difference in their own way. We spotlight all types of different individuals, and today is no exception. We have a very cool guy here named Ryan. Ryan is going to introduce himself real quick and just let you know a little bit about him. So take it away, Ryan.
Thank you for having me, by the way. But my name's Ryan. Right now, currently, I'm a college student heading into my fourth year of college. I switched to online college from the traditional college because currently last weekend we just opened up Cabby's Grill and Patio, which is my family's restaurant, which my mom, dad, brother, sister were all involved and part of. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. That's what's going on in my life. That's really what's important right now is school and my business, our family's business.
So I understand how hard it is trying to build a business and trying to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and then also doing, your own thing in college and everything like that. And I feel like your story is so similar to Gary V's right now.
I know I've heard that a bunch of times, kind of when I've introduced myself as that I'm working under my family's business, and he started early too. Like he said, like 19, 20 years old, he started in the wine business, and everyone always directs me to the like episodes or like his podcast of stuff like that. Like especially the one with John Tapper, which is a bar expert. So yeah, I get that. Like it's humbling to think of myself starting like how young that he did. So.
But that's just to me is a step up because what he did with the wine business, maybe that what you can do with the restaurant business.
Right.
Is how would you just on your personal perspective alone, because you have a lot more experience in it, how would you think the restaurant industry has changed, and what do you think that needs to be done in it for it to evolve more? Because I feel like it's been in a little bit of a standstill.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, it's been in a little bit of a standstill.
I do agree with that, and I've had plenty of conversations when like going into this business. Me and my dad both, and the rest of my family have heard like, oh, it's a hard business, a tough business, like any business is. But as far as like people not going out anymore, a lot of people going to more fast food chains like your Buffalo Wild Wings, your Applebee's, stuff like that. That's becoming more popular. But there's other stuff that goes along with that too. People don't go out to, like I'm from Wisconsin, so I can think of that in particular with the drunk driving, stuff like that. People are more cautious about going out to dinner and having drinks. And another thing that I can think of, like in the last, from when I've grown up with, that smoking is another big thing. Like in the last, 10, 15 years, that's been the law in Wisconsin. There's no smoking in restaurants anymore.
No, it's like in almost everywhere too, man.
Because, yeah, I can only think of, I can't even think of how long it's been.
It's weird because I still remember going to Chinese restaurants with my parents where there were smoking sections.
Right.
So that just makes me feel old. You know what I mean?
That's like a question like the next generation will never have to, when going to the restaurant, if you're going to send the smoking or non-smoking section.
Yeah, it was like two different sections. They split it down the middle. You go in there and it smells like a damn ashtray.
Right.
And then you go over here and it doesn't, and it's like, yeah, and to me, I like, what is your opinion of that, Ashley? Of them taking out the smoking section? Do you think that to you has cut the business of restaurants now, or do you think it has improved it a little bit?
I don't think I think maybe at first, when it first was introduced, people were probably very upset with it. But I think now that, like I said, 10, 15 years later, people are more aware of the health effects of smoking, and it's becoming more. But of course, with the new stuff coming out, that's a whole different story with like the vapes and Juuls, all those other forms of getting nicotine. So I don't think it really hurt. Maybe right away there might have been a decline, but now that it's been in effect, it's kind of like with like I can think of other laws that it just takes time for everyone to get used to. But now you can only even think about going to restaurants. You're not allowed to smoke inside the restaurant nowadays.
No, true.
That's kind of like common now.
So, Ryan, tell me a little bit more. Like, tell us a little bit more about yourself, because I know
Yeah.
we've talked about the just the restaurant industry real quick, but tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, what is your personal why? Why is it that
It's
you're in this?
like, oh, for the restaurant. Well, I mean, I've been I don't know. Like my first few years of college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I went into college thinking I wanted to like I love computers. I wanted to do computer science, and I found out that wasn't for me. And tried a bunch of I tried psychology and what else did I try? There was something else, accounting, stuff like that. I've tried a few different looked into those majors and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And my dad's been always and my mom too. They've been excellent cooks, and I kind of at in my second year of college, I was kind of thinking I just want someone to kind of tell me, give me a direction and I'll follow it. Like if someone said I need you to get your communications degree and you can have a job on me, I'd be like, okay, now I have a goal to reach to. Like I didn't have an end goal in my college career my first few years. And then once my dad kind of started talking about, he's always mentioned the restaurant business. So when he kind of got a little more serious about it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for business management and focus in hospitality. And then after my third year, we fully committed to it. And so now I'm getting my degree while at the same time having a hands-on experience of a restaurant.
And
So
that's good.
that's kind of this is the kind of foundation of more stuff I want to do in the future. This will be my stepping stone for all that.
And something that I've noticed after doing a lot of these interviews, especially talking to a lot of you guys that are in the digital era group,
Right.
and
That's how
outside
we
of
met. Yeah.
and even outside of the digital era group, something that I've noticed with a lot of you is that you're not motivated so much about the monetary value. You're
Oh,
more
not at
of,
all.
yeah, you're more of how does it make you personally feel? And how does it, help? Like, for instance, a question I'm about to ask you later on before I make this point. Well, after I make this point,
Right.
um, is, there's so many different ways of, providing value to yourself and then providing value to others. And, we're going to really talk about how do restaurants really make a difference in, the community, the family community,
Of course.
just the dynamics there. But just along of what I've seen is that a lot of you guys are not motivated by money, and it's all about how it personally feels to you,
Right.
and it's all about how it personally feels to you and how you can help others with it. And I think that's very prevalent, and that's very it's affirming to me of
Right.
the person that will be successful.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. Just to go with that, actually, when I was introducing the restaurant, I have a quote by Tony. I can't pronounce his last name, but it was chase the vision, not the money. The money will end up following you. That's kind of my going into the business and going into anything else. It's just doing what you love will always, if you do it well, you always have money. You won't have to worry about any of that. But it's just more worrying about what you're doing and not focusing on money, because if you chase money, that's just going to lead you to nothing.
Now, what would you say? Let's talk about money real quick before we go to that other question.
Sure.
Why do you think us in I wouldn't just say the American society, but our everyday society, every country in the world, why is it that we're so consumed on focusing on what makes us money, like instant gratification? You know what I mean? Like instantly. Do you think that has something to do with the fact of a lot of us has gone to college and have to pay student loans? Or do you think it's deeper than that? Like it started even before college, maybe even before high school, maybe family wise?
I think everyone can agree that one of everyone's goals is to have financial stability and not to have to worry about money. But I think that it kind of starts off with how everyone's idolized these days, the sports stars, movie stars, anyone like that, everyone with the big luxurious lifestyle, stuff like that. People see that and oh, I want to be like that. So I think it starts young, because you think about, you grow up watching and looking up to people like that. It's just that if you find someone else like Gary V, like someone who's pretty humble about like, sure, he's very financially stable, but he doesn't brag about it. He doesn't show off about that. It's just the people you choose to follow, kind of. And I think people choose to follow. It's easier to follow someone with nice stuff and things that they can go out and do and spend all this money and not have to worry about it. People
Of
like that.
course.
It's easy.
Of course, yeah, and it's easy to chase after that. Like, and I think that's the easy goal because I even said that to a lot of people. Money is easier to make than what we think, especially
Mhm.
in our country today, in our capitalistic society that we have. Making money is easier than what you think, but making a difference, that's where the true, goal is. And just speaking about that, going to the question, the restaurant industry in general,
Mhm.
and even you can use your restaurant for example.
Yeah.
How can it make a difference in our community?
I think that if you have, even if you like build, like restaurants have their own communities in themselves, you always have your regular customers that come in, your friends and family that comes in. It's nice having that sense of community, and with that you can take advantage of having like sponsored events. Like I know that there's I can think of, for example, in my community, in Fox Lake, that there's like the preservation organization. There's others like the cancer research, anything that you can support group, and you always have that platform you can reach out to someone, or someone reaches out to you saying that they want to host an event, and you can be a part of that. And then the more you're involved and give back to your community, I feel like restaurants pay, and especially in small communities, you have to be present in your own community, so you give back, so you receive, but you always give more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, jab, jab, right hook, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like that has, especially on a lot of these corporate restaurants, these franchises that you see out here, like the Olive Gardens and everything like that. I forgot what restaurant said it. It might have not even been a restaurant. It might have been something totally different. But they said millennials are killing their industry because they're not they're not going out anymore or something like that.
Right.
I believe it was a restaurant. I don't know what
I could,
restaurant.
I could, I could, I think that is definitely people like in my community have like they've been around for like 30, 40 years. Their restaurants, there hasn't really been new restaurants that stayed. It's only been like a few restaurants that have been established for a while, and they always say like people don't go out as much as they used to. And I think a lot of thing is people like I say millennials or like our age group under that too can
Mhm.
I feel like, I don't know, there's always a reason to go out, but you have to have that reason. I feel like people just don't go out to go out nowadays. They need something like, I don't know, an event or music, or I can think of is really popular. People love going out for music, stuff like that. And if you have live music at your restaurant, they'll draw a crowd. And there's just other stuff like sporting events is very prevalent anywhere in the United States. So I feel like that if you have whole events for sporting events, you'll draw a crowd in, but that gives your community a reason to come out and support each other and hang out with each other. So I don't know. I feel like people just before they just went out to go out. They went out to eat food and went out to drink. That was it. Nowadays, it's like you have to have a reason.
Yeah, nowadays it seems weird because like I said, I'm in college just like you, but I live more in a college town where there's nothing but bars and stuff like that. And every weekend you see the same people going out to these bars, getting drunk, walking home, getting hurt. It's just doing,
Right.
just doing this stupid college stuff. And and that's an example of itself because we can even go into and I don't know if we should go into this topic in this interview, but we can even go into like dating dynamics as well with
Right.
that. Because I feel
Yeah.
like dating, especially in our society, especially us as millennials,
Hmm.
is totally different than the way it was back in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, things like that, where they used to take, all right, let's go to dinner. Let's do
Hmm.
all this different stuff. Now it's like, it's weird. And
Yeah.
do you think that has some effect on, the restaurant industry?
I think, I don't know. I feel like there's some like I can the one of the our goals when we we're talking about a restaurant is that we want to make it feel like family. I have a few good friends of mine from high school that are working for us, and then they know people, and we know the same people. So like this last weekend felt like we've been open forever. I don't know how else to say it. It felt like everyone knew each other because everyone almost did know each other because we all have the same friends in the same community. It was just kind of having the restaurant to bring everyone together, and we wanted to have that feeling when you come in. We don't want. I've been in places where you walk in and it feels like everyone's looking at you funny. It's like what's he doing here? Because you've never been there before, you never established it. But when we opened and everyone came in, everyone was talking with each other. The whole bar was full, and there was tables were full. It was awesome because everyone felt like family there. Just everyone was talking, and I keep repeating myself, but that's how it felt. It was awesome.
No, it is. It sounds like that. I even had an idea that just came to my mind, and I hope
Yeah.
somebody uses this idea and like go build something with it. But the use of social media with a restaurant, where it's like a meetup spot, like they do some sort of like dating app, for instance,
Right.
that could like have a central restaurant be like a meetup spot for the people that want to meet in like a safe, neutral location.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
even make it like a club scene or something like that, where it's like, all right, this is specifically for people that use this app.
Sure.
And like they
Okay.
come in and this is where they can meet, be safe. And that way you can make sure you're meeting a person who's a safe person. You can also make sure that you're not getting catfish
Right.
or, is somebody, you know what I mean? Like you can make up any type of persona you want online
Exactly.
nowadays. So I feel like that it would be a great verification tool and would open up things. I think that would be revolutionary in itself. If we could have something like that, if somebody could do it like locally first to test it out, sell it to, like Tinder or something, and
Right.
then, they spread it out around the country. I think that could be something that's very, very cool.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, as long as there's always like the feel, I know that it's been pretty prevalent, like with college, like being safe and always being around people you trust, because like it's some towns are like places are scary. Even like you might think it's safe, you never really know. But I feel like you can have a set place where because it's been like backed by a company or an app, something like that, or like a chain that it's safe. That would be very more appealing for people that feel unsafe going out by themselves nowadays.
And I think that's something that your restaurant can add to it because just hearing a little bit about what your restaurant does and your mindset towards it is that your restaurant can come off like a safe haven for
Mm-hmm.
people. And I think that's what's been missing from a lot of restaurants. And I think that's what makes like local restaurants so popular is that they come off like a safe haven
Yeah.
for just their customers and their Patreons and everybody that comes in there and spends money there. And I think that's what gives it that family feel that you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people like to be greeted by their name. People like to come in and they know what you're gonna drink or what, like, an idea of what you're gonna have, or like the servers by name too, and everyone says hi to you, not just me or my dad or my mom or sister, because we're part of the restaurant. Like, my parents are the owners. We obviously that's what we want to do, but if we apply that to our servers and our hosts and hostesses, that I think that just makes people happy, and like they feel like wanted at the restaurant in this sort of way.
And the fact that a family runs it, that's I think is going to really draw in a lot of people as well because you guys can be like a primary example of, all right, this is our family, we're different, we're new, we're same like you guys.
Yeah,
We
we've
all
never
love
done
each
this
other.
before.
Yeah,
This
you
is our
see?
first time doing it. Everyone keeps asking, "Oh, have you had a business before? Have you done restaurants before?" And like, we've all worked in restaurants, but we've never owned and managed it. So this is
Hey,
all brand new to all of us.
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I love the fact that you guys are trying to do that and trying to do something that's, not just going to help yourselves, but help your community as well.
Definitely, there's
I love
definitely
that.
a need for restaurants, and there's used to be 20 different places on the lake, but now there's only 4 now, including us. So it's gone downhill as far as like people, businesses staying in it. But I think there's the right amount of people in the area, and I think people will come from farther away because we have family in Chicago and other family all over the United States. So I think people will start coming, and once we do, I think we could establish it, and hopefully that inspires another restaurant to come up. And like, as much as it's competition, it's more like a community more than anything. You can't go to our restaurant every single night, and you can't go to, like, I wouldn't expect them to come to our restaurant every night, and I wouldn't expect them to go to a different one every single night. Some people will, but that's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And and what's interesting about that, about your restaurant, when you said it was by a lake, even just doing that helps your community alone, where you don't even have to worry about, oh yeah, let's make franchises, let's make, like, you probably, the way you guys are probably going to do it is like, all right, here we're going to have it as successful as possible, do our social media correctly, have a presence, everything like that, and then whenever it's making enough money, maybe put it in another location of town that has that type of feel to it. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like you guys are worried about, hey, let's become like the next McDonald's
No,
or
not at all.
TGI Fridays or anything like that. If it were to happen, y'all be happy about it. But at the same time, that's not what your personal goals are.
No. At the end of the day, we're going to try to do it as successful as we can, and build it up as big as we can and keep it that way for as long as we can. But I kind of talked about, like, before, like, this is like my stepping stone. I want to be able to help other people build their own business too if they're interested. I know like a few people, 2 of my servers are really into music, and my one server is college, just finished playing at Michigan State for football. So there's stuff like that. I want to be able to have, and like, the financial ability to help them out with their music or with sports, stuff like that. And I have other friends that are into fitness. I love to help them, say if they want to open a gym, or my music friends want to open a studio. I want to be able to be a part of that. And that's not like why I'm chasing. That's not why, like, in a restaurant, like, my money is really to put money somewhere else. It's not the money's not really for myself. I want to put it towards other things. I want to be able to help people with my money. I don't want the monetary things.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I love seeing that's the mentality and that's the mindset you have. And I know you're going to be very successful. You seem like a very relaxed and successful guy. You're going to do a lot of great things, and you're going to help a lot of different people create businesses that are greater than themselves.
Yeah,
because you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I see the hard work, and I mean, people like-minded people like you and I have the same vision that we want to help others, and that's really what our businesses are. Anyone's business should be to help others, and that's what the main goal is. It is your customers, or your people who consume your content.
It is.
Like, I love this podcast stuff, or like interview stuff like this. This is awesome. I really, once I get settled, I want to get my own show or something like this.
Hey, I'll be the first guest if you need it.
Yeah, you and Eduardo.
Yeah, and I'm actually interviewing him next.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually interviewing him next in probably like an hour. Yeah,
okay.
Somebody. Yeah.
I wish I would have known we could have been on together.
hey, we can, because I'm always looking to do something like that, because I'm actually going to be starting a podcast pretty soon, and it's going to be called Spark That Flame.
Okay.
Where we're going to be talking about a lot of motivational stuff and just showing how to, spark that flame in others. And that's what you're doing. When you said you want to help these people start their own businesses, you want to spark that flame into them that ignites a fire under them that can't be exalted unless they do what they need to do.
Right. And I think the biggest fear that people have with starting a business or anything is money. And it's like, if I could be that worry, that one little step, that like little push they need, is like, okay, I have the financial ability, now I have the confidence to do it myself. That's just one less thing they have to worry about. And if I can be a part of it and help them out in any way, shape, or form. Like I mentioned to you when I reached out to you, when I said I was following after the digital era and your podcast with Eduardo.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be there for everybody.
Hey, that's good.
Anybody I can be there for. If I can help, like any way, just I want anyone to know they can reach out to me.
And I don't know if you realize this, but that's actually what you're doing with your parents' business as well. That's actually what you're doing there.
I feel like I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And you could probably be one of these people that go in and work at these different jobs just to help out, like work in there for operational purposes or something like that, just to help them out and just to help them get what they want to get off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's why I love to get the restaurant up to a point where I don't have to. I can trust people to run it for us, but still be there at the same time, but have the flexibility to help someone else start up too if they needed while the restaurant's open.
Of course. All right. So this part of the interview is where we like to do a little thing called 2-minute pitch. We're going to put 2 minutes on the clock and you have an opportunity. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Oh, man.
This is going to be fun. You're going to like it.
Okay.
So what we have. No, I'm over here because I saw some dust on my head anyway. All right. So what we have is you can do in the next 2 minutes, give a pitch about your family's restaurant, or you can give a pitch about how you're planning to make a difference in our everyday world for the next 10 years. What are you planning to do to make a difference in our everyday world? So you go ahead and pick. After that, I'm gonna put on the clock.
Okay.
And then we're gonna see what's up.
All right. I kind of want to just I want to do how my family's business is gonna help others in the next 10 years. I like to do that.
All right, no problem. Let me get the clock out. And don't be afraid of it, because if you continue talking, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
No, I'm kind of afraid. It's just on the spot. That's why I'm afraid of.
Hey, that's the reason why we do it, is because I'm trying to make sure whenever we have people on here, the thing that they're taking away is that in 2 minutes, you should be able to explain what it is that you want to do. And I hope this gives you practice, and I hope this makes you actually practice more. That's the reason why I love putting people on the spot doing this.
Right.
And then a lot of people do better than what you think.
I probably will. It's just that I'm overthinking it, even though I just found out about it.
And that's the reason why we do it, because we don't want you guys overthinking it. So, all right, putting 2 minutes on the clock. Starting now.
All right. So with our family's restaurant, one of our goals is to give back to our community. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is supporting local artists and musicians. My 2 buddies from Beaver Dam I went to high school with are now currently in Chicago. They have a band called Easy There Tiger, and they just started up, and I'm going to have them come perform and give them my outlet as a business that we have with our social media pages and our just community in general is going to give back to them by just kind of shouting each other out. And with that, I want to grow off it and do it. I have other friends that are musicians as well. Another thing with our restaurant, that as far as giving back, we want to be as helping out with other community events that go on in our area, as far as like volunteering and going out to other restaurants, other businesses, and supporting them as we can, even if that means like as far as helping them or just going into them and buying or doing their services from them. Other than that, we hope to grow to a point where we can, anyone that reaches out to us, as far as if it's local sports teams, local events, local charities, we want to be able to give back to them, because that's the main thing we look for in our restaurant, is that we couldn't be open if it wasn't for the people in our community and the people that our many friends and family that have helped us out, and we would just want to help each other out as much as we can.
So after that, so did you say everything you needed to say? All right,
that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. See, now this is raw. We're gonna keep this in the interview, by the way.
That's fine.
We're gonna keep this in. So Ryan, remind us one more time. What's the name of your guys' restaurant? Address, location.
It's Cabby's Grill and Patio in Fox Lake, Wisconsin. So we have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those 3. If it's just Cabby's Grill and Patio.
Send me all of your information, and we're gonna put it in the description box of this video.
Sounds good.
All right, so guys, I loved having Ryan here. It was really, really cool. We're gonna get back to the basics, and we're gonna, just talk about how just making a difference is so great. That's why I love having people like Ryan and everybody else in here. We're gonna have a lot of great more guests and a lot of great more things coming. So stay tuned, keep watching, and get happy because we're all making a difference.